beginners. This is the episode number 3, the third one that I'm doing in this series. Start with your nunchucks in the right hand. You're going to hold right in the middle of one of the sticks. The string, or in this case the chain, is going to come out of your thumb side. Turn your palm up to the sky, and you're going to crank it forward in the circular motion. You're just twisting. Doing this warm-up motion creates an orbital spin on the outside of your body, and that's one of the first things you have to know when you learn how to use nunchucks for beginners is this orbital spin. Everything's going to be going in orbit around your body, either in one motion or when you put them together in 2 motions. In this case, I'm going to turn my palm over and have you do that same thing on the inside of your body. So you're still holding the same way. String is still coming out of the thumb side, and you're just pushing forward in this motion. You get it going, and then keep it going. Small motions. Your hand is literally just doing this. You're just going real small. This is an inside orbital. Go back to that outside orbital, which is your palm facing the sky. And you're just going to twist it, crank it forward. Turn your palm over. Turn your palm up. Over. Now put those together. Over and back. You're doing the figure 8 motion here. A sideways figure 8, also known as an infinity sign. We call this an endless spin. So now with this endless spin, and you notice again, I'm still holding the chuck just in the middle. This is all for your warm-up. Get blood to flow into the joints. Keep your body safe from injury during this workout. As you do this standing, pull your stomach up and in. Nunchucks are a great weapon if you also have to be sitting for any reason. You can do all these from a seated position. So do it standing or do it sitting or do both and see if you can challenge yourself to grow. Now, after you do this for 30 seconds, put it into your other hand. This is my left hand. String comes out of the thumb side, and I'm cranking forward. That gives me the outer orbital to the left side of my body. And then I'm going to turn my palm over and do the same thing across my body on the other side, inner orbital. This is all your warm-up, but you're also already learning how to use the nunchucks and do different tricks, different skills, different techniques. Very simply, palm up, palm down. Put them together. You're going up and down. And now you're doing a sideways figure 8. This turning and twisting motion gets the blood to flow into your wrists, into your joints. Hello to everybody. And it starts to keep your body safe from injury. As you warm up and stretch, you're also getting that blood in there. You're lubricating the joints. It's going to feel good. You're also building muscle in your forearms. You're going to build a strong, powerful grip. Any style of self-defense, whether it's striking or grappling, any kind of martial arts, jiu-jitsu, judo, all those grappling styles, or karate, kickboxing, Western boxing, taekwondo, you need to have strong forearms, strong wrists. And you're going to get that with using your nunchucks. Now I'm showing you how to use the nunchucks today. I'm going to mostly use the speed chucks. And let me show you the difference right from the start as we go through this warm-up and how to use nunchucks at home for beginners. This is your learn how to use nunchucks for beginners workout. If I put them together, you're going to see immediately that this has a very short distance between these two, and this one's long. Thank you, Alex, for your comment. You're gonna have one short one. The short one is for speed, it's for demonstrations. You're gonna use this if you go to tournaments, if you wanna show off and do some really cool fancy tricks. You're gonna use this one if you're using it to fight for self-defense. This one's heavier, but you're gonna hold them completely differently. When you do tricks, you're gonna hold more in the middle. Sometimes you're gonna hold here to get speed, or you're gonna hold a little bit toward the bottom. And when you use this one for self-defense, your hand is always gonna be here. All of the strikes are gonna happen here at the very tip, the last 10% right there. And this is hard aluminum. That's a hard beveled edge. That's gonna slice somebody open. That's gonna cut, that's gonna strike hard. You're gonna be able to strike without having it bounce back and smash your hand. And you hold it this way and you strike with just the tip and you follow through. You also have to follow through. Now, this is not a fighting self-defense chuck. This is only for demonstration, for training, for fun. You can fight with this one, but it's not designed. No matter how you hit it, even if with its full extension here, it's coming back, it's gonna hit your hand. So you're likely, if you wanna learn self-defense, I say do both. Learn how to use the speed chucks, learn how to use what we call the dinosaur chucks or the self-defense chucks. All right, so we did palm up, palm down, we did it on both hands. That's your basic forward figure eight, and now I want you to reverse it. I want you to be able to do everything in both directions, holding right in the middle. You're gonna pull it in and back towards you. And when you turn your palm is facing the sky first, when you turn your palm over, you're gonna come across your body so that it spins across your body. And you're gonna increase the speed as you warm up. Palm up, palm down, put them together. Oh, we're going in reverse. See, I was doing it the wrong way. Oh, look at that, I make some mistakes. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Don't try to put yourself on some pedestal like you're some kind of perfect person. That way, when you do make mistakes, you won't get so frustrated and you won't allow it to stop you. Now, anytime you pull the weapon up and away, you're gonna generate a lot more speed and power than when you go down and forward. You can generate a lot of power with both with this technique. When you're coming up, because the way your wrist is made, you're gonna be able to do a lot of these spins and tricks faster. So we're gonna get to that after the warm-up, but we're still gonna do this palm up, palm down, put it together, put it into the other hand. Your hand's just in the middle and you're pulling it back. Put your hand down and pull it in and toward you. Pulling it this way. Now, if you see it, I have it here across my body. If I hold it in the middle and my elbow's bent too much, I'm gonna come back and smack myself in the face. When you do that, let that remind you, get your hand across. Don't try not to hit yourself, by the way. You're gonna hit yourself. And it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna break anything. You might get a good bruise. You might get a bump. You might get a couple of scratches if you use the fighting nunchuck, but you're not gonna die. So don't let it be a deterrent. Let it wake you up. Let it be a focus accelerator. Makes you pay attention really well. Palm up, back and forth, side to side. This is just a reverse figure eight spin, holding in the middle of the chuck. And again, this is the speed chuck. This is for demonstration. Now I'm gonna have you hold it here because I want you, when you're learning how to use nunchucks or learn how to use nunchucks for beginners, I want you to learn how to fight like Bruce Lee. The best way to handle someone like Alex, guys, is you just ignore him. You go up and down, up and down. Someone like that, they're just looking for attention, right? Here, put this back a little bit. And the funny thing is, I'm not like a 12-year-old kid. It doesn't really bother me. And it didn't bother me when I was 12. So I was born with thick skin, right? Or maybe it's perspective. I've been doing martial arts since I was a little kid, and I learned a long time ago. Doesn't matter what you think. All that matters is what I do, right? You're going up and down. Now this is a striking motion. Think about hitting on top of the head for self-defense. And even though I said this is for demonstration, this is the speed chuck, and when you strike for self-defense, you're always gonna hold here, and I can use this pair. I can use this pair for self-defense. They're very effective for self-defense. It is a very effective and useful self-defense weapon when you know how to use it correctly. But whether or not you're using this one or this one, when you do that vertical strike, coming down, thinking about hitting on top of the head, maybe they're trying to punch, you're gonna smash their joints, smash their fingers, maybe they got a knife, you're gonna smash that hand, maybe they're reaching out to grab or they're holding on to somebody else, you need to strike that hand. You're gonna do it with full speed and power. So when you start, nice and easy, and then increase your power. And the second one is gonna be a diagonal strike coming across. When you learn how to use nunchucks for beginners, I want you to imagine that you're learning how to use nunchucks like somebody you might follow in the movies, like a Bruce Lee, or a cartoon character, a manga character like in the Naruto series, you got Mighty Guy and you have Rock Lee. Or maybe it's one of the Ninja Turtles. Or maybe you just want to be very traditional. You've seen the Ip Man movies, and you saw Ip Man 4, and in the movie at the end, I think Scott Adkins is fighting against the actor who plays Bruce Lee. This is your third strike. Just coming over and back. And it's just a horizontal strike. It can be done to the head, it can be done to the body, it can be done to that vicious wild dog, wild animal running around mauling people. You can defend yourself with this basic strike. Now, I call this the Bruce Lee triangle because if you watch any Bruce Lee movie, Bruce Lee, when he's using nunchucks, if you want to learn how to use nunchucks like Bruce Lee, in this Learn How to Use Nunchucks for Beginners tutorial, I want you to learn the Bruce Lee triangle, which is just coming over at that angle, coming back here, and snap it up. Yes, absolutely. I didn't see the last part. The last part was something about a bounce. We're going to talk about the bounce when we talk about the other one and using it for self-defense. Now, all this is, again, this it's a right triangle because if you measure it, it's 90 degrees. So it's a right triangle. It's across from right shoulder to left hip, from left hip to right hip, or through the ribs. And then from here, it comes back up. I just turn my wrist up. And that's really coming up under the chin, or again, maybe they're reaching, you smash that hand out of the air. That's the second half, the upward part of that vertical strike. So you have diagonal, horizontal, vertical. Now, with this 3-strike combination with your nunchucks, as you're learning how to use nunchucks for beginners, 3-strike in combination, you start to look like you know what you're doing. And it's because you do know what you're doing. You're going side to side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Speed it up. But don't just do it, don't just like repeat what you see me doing or somebody else doing. Understand what it is. That's a strike. That's a strike. And that's a strike up under the chin. Then put it into the other hand. And remember, for strikes, you're holding at the very bottom to create maximum leverage, maximum power when you strike. And when you strike, you're hitting with the very tip. Now, when we talk about the bounce back, this is a very common question. And hang tight, I'm going to bring you close. It's a very common question or concern, or I've seen lots of videos where the experts will say, like recently, this guy named Shad, I guess, Shadiversity is his channel. Great channel. He's got a lot of stuff on historical European martial arts. They call that HEMA. And but he's showing the nunchucks that he had. Okay, great. So awareness self-defense is saying that you're going to hit yourself. It's going to bounce back and hit you. And that's exactly why I came close to the bag. I want to address that part of it right now because you're absolutely right, 100%. And hello, El Toro. El Toro just said hi. But you're right. If you do not use it correctly, if you strike, and you're using, especially if you're using, you have to know there are 2 kinds, right? There are really 3 kinds. I've got the 3rd kind over there. One day I'll bring it out. It's the Chinese version where the stick is a lot shorter. The Philippine martial arts also use one with the stick is shorter. This is long, and you've got the second stick is about this long. But if you have one that's more like the Okinawan style, this is the old school with the long one. This is the one you see in the Bruce Lee movies. This is one that you might see if you go to a tournament, like a American karate tournament or a European karate tournament. Or if you see in some of the movies, you see some of the fast speed work, sometimes it's done with a speed chuck. And this is designed just for doing tricks, for being able to move quickly, and then you drop it, you pick it up. But be able to do a lot of different things that you cannot do as well or as fast with these. Now, somebody who's really good will be able to use both just as well. But back to the striking point or part. If I hold this in the middle, and when I watch a lot of these videos where the expert is saying you can't use, I think Shadiversity's Shad said, it's trash, throw it in the trash, it's a trash weapon. And he was demonstrating how to use it in a way that a lot of people use it because they simply don't know. They weren't taught correctly. He wasn't taught correctly, or if he was, he certainly wasn't demonstrating the correct technique. He's holding here. When he strikes, it has to come back and hit him. It has to. See where my hand is? No matter how you strike, it's going to have a bounce back and hit your hand, or sometimes you're going to hit your head if you're too close or they're coming in really fast. With this chuck especially, but holding it here. Even if I hold this one here, and I don't do it as much because this is very heavy. They're sharp enough to cut my skin. And I kind of avoid that a little bit. But even with that, and that hurts my wrist, that's hitting my knuckles. When I hit it and stop like that, like he demonstrated, like a lot of people practice, you're going to hit yourself. If instead you understand, like I said before, for strikes, you always hold at the very end. Now, if I hold at the very end of this one and I put pressure here, so I extend this chain as far as it will go, when it comes back, it's gonna smack my knuckles. So with most strikes, not all strikes, but with most strikes using this one, I'm gonna hit myself in the hand. If I use this one, I hold at the very end, I push this all the way out, and look where it comes. It does not hit my hand. And the reason I'm showing you that this has to be out is because when you do it correctly, the momentum, the kinetic energy, gravity, whatever the technique is, and I'm not a physicist or a mechanical engineer, whatever's causing that to be out, when you do it correctly, and it comes back, it's gonna hit itself. And you're gonna hear when I go through and do some of these strikes, you see if I can get it to hit itself. It's hitting itself. Number two, the reason people are hitting themselves is they do not follow through. You have to follow through when you strike. You've got to go all the way. Oh, there you heard it, right? You heard it smack and hit itself. So it's hitting itself when I'm doing it correctly. I'm not hitting myself. There's no bounce back that's injuring me using this for self-defense. When done correctly. When I bring it through, all the way through, even with the horizontal strike, which is the third thing. Most people hit themselves on a horizontal strike with the chuck. And if you look at almost everyone, go back and look at these so-called experts, and I want to say, I'm not trying to be offensive to them, but maybe like me, I try to take this approach that I don't know everything. I'm often wrong, but I'm never in doubt. I might be wrong, but I'm never in doubt. That just goes to, the confidence, and I'll stay open to learn though. You show me a different way and I didn't know it, I'm not gonna hold on to my beliefs and say, well, you're just wrong because I'm embarrassed. I'm always wrong. I'm gonna learn something new. I'm gonna learn from you. But if I hold here, and when you watch those other videos, Shad himself in the Shadiversity, which I come to find is Australia. I think before I said Britain or something. That's just my ignorance when it comes to accents, right? Smashes his hand because he's holding it here. That's wrong. If he holds it here, when he holds it here. And the second thing is, most people, or this is the fifth thing, they're hitting with this. When they strike for self-defense, they're hitting with the middle of the chuck, like a big piece of wood or a big piece of metal, like a baseball bat. And it's not a baseball bat weapon. Think of more of like a katana. It's a slicing weapon or a kali stick. You said earlier, you'd be better off if you just had a long piece of wood, which is basically, essentially, a screema, kali, arnis. And yes, you're absolutely right. That is a very effective weapon. And with my kali sticks, with my screema sticks, with the baston, I'm using it just this way. Oh, Awareness with Chris says, by the way, thank you for teaching me how to spin and strike and block with bow staff. Absolutely my pleasure. And so that's it. Let's review that real quick. You're hitting yourself if you hold here. You're hitting yourself if you're using a speed chuck instead of a self-defense chuck because the string is too short or the chain is too short. When you hit correctly and it bounces back, let me show you that there's some coming out of the end. It should hit itself. In this case, even if I hold it halfway in the middle, it's gonna hit me. 3, you're hitting and there's no follow through. There's a smash and you come back and you stop. That's an ineffective strike anyway. If I'm punching for self-defense or striking or kicking or knees or elbows, anything for self-defense, I wanna go through their soul for self-defense. I wanna strike the front and try to get 10 inches to the back. Kind of like the old video games, where he reaches in and grabs his spine and rips it out. Just for self-defense. But that's how you have to strike. You have to have full commitment in those strikes. You have to have that follow through. And when you hold it correctly, and you do your follow through strikes, you're not hitting yourself. It'll hit itself, it'll hit the other person, but you're not gonna smash your own hand. And this happens all the time. People hit this way, smash themselves. And the last thing is when they're swinging it, you're using this as a big bar, and they're trying to hit them with the full length of that stick. That's wrong. It's only the tip. It's a slicing weapon. It's a slicing weapon. It's not a flail. They're not trying to bash them with the nunchuck. You're trying to slice with the nunchuck. So I want to get that out of the way because this is episode number 3. This is the third lesson in learn how to use nunchucks at home for beginners, or learn how to use nunchucks for beginners. And if you're going to run into this comment, you're going to find somebody who says to you, "That's a trash weapon, throw it away, that's no good, you're going to hurt yourself." And you're going to say, "That's true if you do all these things wrong. And if you do all these things right, it's a great weapon. It's a great weapon for self-defense." The only question that I have, or not question, but the only concern that I have with this weapon for you is it legal where you are? And it's not legal in some places. In fact, it's not legal in most places. But I'm going to put the self-defense weapon back because I want to show you some more tricks, some more things that you could do if you're a fan of Rock Lee in Naruto, or Mighty Guy, or Bruce Lee. You want to fight like Bruce Lee with nunchucks. We're going to do this spin motion. And this is that, remember we did the orbital at the beginning? It's the same thing, but I'm just having you hold it here and use a little bit bigger circle. Hello, Sensei. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You're just going around. So if you go up and down, and we go back to this vertical strike, and I add that spinning motion in, down, spin motion up, I'm going to increase the speed and the strength of the strike, but it also looks cool, right? So you're now doing a striking combination here. You're doing a vertical strike with an orbital spin. So you're doing an orbital spin. You can add that. You can do your Bruce Lee triangle, and then do an extra spin. Go into your figure 8, spin down, spin up, Bruce Lee triangle, figure 8, spin down, spin up, as an example of something that you can do. Make sure you do all your techniques with both hands. Learn how to do them both at the same time. And we'll do double nunchucks in number 4. When we get to how to use nunchucks at home for beginners, learn how to use nunchucks at home for beginners, number 4, we're going to do double nunchucks. I'm going to show you some things you can do. The truth is you can do more stuff with a single nunchuck than you can with a double nunchuck. With the double nunchuck, you start doing stuff at the same time, and then it looks really cool, and then you're changing your spins. It's super cool. So we'll do that in the next episode. But I want to go to hand passing it from one hand to the other one, because this is elusive for a lot of people. It's hard for them to get at first, but you're going to learn it today. You're going to get it right away. We're going to do the easier one first. I'm going to go back across the body. Chris Mixed World says, my brother is excellent, or is amazing with them. I got my first pair from my brother. He wasn't really that interested in using them. He took them away from somebody in an altercation that we had when we were younger, in the backyard, in the middle of the night. These 2 guys came over, and that's how we got our first pair. Then we reverse engineered it. They had made them out of tomato steaks and built our own. Right hand, I'm going to bring it right up, just to the side. I'm going to come across my body. Hello, Garv. And I'm going to grab across in the front of the body. Now, you're going to want to try to go to the back. That's instinctive. But keep your hand in the front of your body. It's going to work really fast. Right hand, it's as simple. We did this about a minute ago. Just up and down. We did that vertical strike. Bring it up. And when you bring it up, turn your wrist down a little bit. Just add that. And that'll make it dangle right here under your arm. It's right next to my body. If it were here, it's going to be a lot harder. So just make sure your hand's out a little bit. Reach across the front of your body. Grab it. There it is. Let go. And then when you pull it out, you're going to pull it out to strike. Strike under. Officially 6'1". I was 6'1" years ago. But I feel like over time, the weight of the world shrinks you a little bit. So I'm somewhere between 6 foot and 6'1", I think. Maybe if I stand up tall, I can get a little over 6'1". He asked how tall I was. Sorry, I keep forgetting to tell you guys the questions if you're watching this later. So, Shashikant Tawari says, hey, I learned the bow staff. Congratulations on learning the bow staff. Reach across the body. It's one of my favorite weapons. Let go of the upper hand and snap that out. Now that we did too. We did this as part of, remember the Bruce Lee triangle? When you want to learn how to use nunchucks at home or want to learn how to use nunchucks for beginners, always learn the Bruce Lee triangle. So when you pull it to the other side of your body, it's actually a strike or a blocking move or like a diverting. You're smacking the hand out of the way or their weapon's coming through and you're going to deflect. It's a deflecting strike. So you're pulling it up when it's over here across the body. Right before COVID hit, I was planning a trip. I didn't have any hard plans yet, but the year of the COVID, the year when COVID started coming around everywhere, my goal was to go to India that year. I want to learn the Indian martial arts. A lot of people think the martial arts started in China, and they did not. They started in India. As far as we know, we don't, who knows? Yeah, great martial arts in India between the Kiripati and the Gakti from the Tamil region, and all of the Gurkha soldiers and the British military made them famous. Tough Gurkha warriors, they all, and then coming from Nepal and India, that whole diaspora, Bangladesh has so many great martial arts traditions. All right, so I'm coming back, reach across, pull it to the other side, pull it to the other side. Just looks like this. In Silambam with Kalaripayatu. I don't know how to say that right. Kalaripayatu. I always say it wrong when the Indian martial art. But Silambam too. Yeah, the Tamils are great warriors, right? It's a great warrior tradition. So you're coming across the body. I think up in the border region, there's some skirmishes between the Chinese soldiers and the Indian soldiers, a lot of whom are Tamil. A lot of hand-to-hand going on, you see in the reports. All right, yeah, Sri Lanka. I'd love to go to Sri Lanka too. So we're coming from side to side. Yeah, let's all go to India. We'll have a meetup in India. We'll do a martial arts seminar there. We'll do some of everything, but we'll get a whole big dose of the Indian martial arts. So you're going side to side. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And then when you bring it on either side, I want you to do a figure 8. And then from the figure 8, go into the orbital on the outside. And then go down and up. And then from down and up, go into a Bruce Lee triangle. And then bring it to the other hand. Do an orbital. Go down and up. Bruce Lee triangle. Figure 8. Back to the orbital, down and up. Bring it to the other side. But now you're starting to weave them together, so now you're learning how to do some of the things that you know how to do. You see, Garv says he wants to learn Kali stick. We're going to do Kali stick this weekend. I've got probably 50 Kali stick videos, basic videos here on this YouTube channel. Go look at those, and that'll make you a new one, Garv. Coming from hand to hand, I want to add 2 more before we're done. And the next one is the upper arm. And these are all very simple, very basic, but they're really important to learn. So Shashikant Tawari asked, why should we learn martial arts? It's always going to be a personal reason. For me, it calms my mind. For me, it increased my focus as a young person when I needed it the most. For me, it helped me feel confident and strong. For me, it's kept me healthy and strong my whole life. For me, it helps with my stress. For me, I feel like it's important as a father now to be able to protect my family. So I have a million reasons, but you have to find out your own reasons too. Yeah, Paul Ingram is really good. Kali Center, He's a little bit more stylistic than I am, which is true of most collie guys. I have my own collie style. It's kind of interesting. Yes, it's nighttime in India. El Tio, I wish you were also in Florida so we could train together. So from here, I have this up and down. When I come down, I'm just gonna drop my elbow and pinch it. I'm gonna catch it. So when you come up and down, when it goes down, drop your elbow and pinch it. Now, pinching it, you're putting pressure on it. And this is the second technique I wanted to show you so that you can put these things together and learn how to move like Bruce Lee, or do nunchucks like Bruce Lee, or just how to learn how to use nunchucks for beginners for whatever purpose you have. It'll help you with your focus. Now from here, I'm squeezing. Yeah, actually, the question is, can you teach parkour? I don't know if you see them. We've got some of the parkour blocks out. We start with the low ones. We build them up. We work on all the basic parkour moves and the precision jump, tuck jumps, and then we start getting into the vaults and all those other things. We live. Oh, that's horrible. It was the whole horrible accident, the jet ski accident in Florida. But we do parkour. We do a lot of parkour. Parkour is one of those things where it's best done outside at the park, though. So it's fun to learn the basic moves here, and then every once in a while we'll go out to the park with the young people and the old people who want to learn it, and then we'll start to practice parkour and martial arts. We put it together, acrobatic martial arts, kind of an extreme martial art. So from here, I'm doing my orbitals. I'm going to go down and up with that spin, go up and down on the arm, bring it under and catch it, squeeze it, pop them just like Bruce Lee, and you've got all these different styles, basic moves that you can do with your nunchucks. When you're learning how to use nunchucks for beginners, you want to be able to show somebody. Someone says, hey, you can use nunchucks, and like, yeah, I don't know a lot of other Tamil. The question is, what other Tamil activities do I know? I don't know a lot of the other ones. I have a very shallow knowledge, which is why I wanted to go visit. I hear India is a very big, gigantic, diverse place. So from here, you start to weave these together. This is the hand pass. Go into a figure eight. When you bring it out, bring it to an orbital. Go down and up, adding your spin. Add your Bruce Lee triangle. When you're up here, go into the upper arm. Pinch it, pop them, put it in the other hand, and you've just done 6, 7 different techniques that, no, kids should never diet. The question is, should kids diet? Kids should never diet, but kids should eat 5 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables a day. Don't try to diet and take food out of your diet. Your body needs to eat when you're a kid. Kids should eat 5 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables a day. Green leafy vegetables, more colors is best. More colors is best. Start here. Up and down, pinch it, pop them in the eye. Go down and up. Go into your figure eight. Bring it back out to an orbital. Go back onto the arm. Catch it with the other hand, and now you're in the other hand again. But this is what you should be able to do with the basic moves. You're just weaving basic stuff together. If you're a child and you're losing, or child, and by child I mean teenager. If you're a kid, teenager, whatever, and you want to lose weight, you want to get healthy and strong, start by walking, drinking water, cut out all the soda beverages, get rid of all pop, right? No diet soda, no regular soda, none. Get rid of all of it. Get rid of anything that comes in a bag. No chips, no corn chips. Get rid of all the corn. And only eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Fresh fruits and vegetables, lean meats. Start to eat healthy. It's not hard to eat healthy if you learn how to do it. So Google it and Google that question. Put it in there, put your age. What should I eat for my age to be strong and healthy? And then when you start to get rid of all that junk and you start to get good, you're welcome. You start to get good fresh fruits and vegetables in there and drink more water, get rid of the soda. You're gonna lose weight. You're gonna be at the right weight, the correct weight for you. But don't try to diet. Don't diet when you're a kid. It's not healthy for you. You're squeezing here, squeeze, pop them in the eye. So we're finishing here, hand to hand, I want you to put these together, do some techniques, figure eights, orbitals, down and up, Bruce Lee triangles, go into the other hand and do something over here. And each time, try to, there's a link below. If you're looking for a good pair of nunchucks, go to the link below, look at the store. Even if that store doesn't ship to where you are, look and see, those are a good selection of nunchucks. See what's out there. My personal opinion, what I suggest, encourage you to do is build your own. Make your own nunchucks first. Invest your time before you invest your money. And it's as simple as find a wooden stick. Find a wooden stick. Yes, Sensei Emmett should do a video on nunchucks for martial artists. But find a stick about this long. It can be a little longer, a little shorter. If you look, it's about as long as my elbow to my wrist. It can be a little bit longer, but that's about as big as you want it to be, right? You want it to be about here. And from here, you get a stick. You don't need a long stick. Cut it in half. Have two even sizes. Drill a hole. Take a shoelace, an old shoelace or some string, and weave it through one side to the other side. And you want it to be about this long, or maybe if you want to learn how to use the original style, go longer, right? Look at how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 links. They're about an inch each, so about 7 inches. 3 links, that's about 3 inches. So, yeah, you can use the foam ones. And so then you drill there, and you weave it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do that 3 or 4 times, and then you have your first pair. And you didn't spend any money for it. If you were able to get some sticks from the backyard or from the neighborhood or from, the recycling bin or whatever, make your own. Go to YouTube and look at a video on how to make your own. There's probably 30, 40, 50. I'll make one for you soon on how to make your own nunchucks. But before you spend a lot of money, always spend your time. Invest your time. Shashikant, it's good to see you. And I'm smiling on the inside. But he keeps asking me to smile. You're going to go up and down with your nunchucks, and you're going to practice your spins, you're going to practice your strikes, do all that stuff. And when you make them yourself, it's going to feel so much better. It's going to be so much cooler. You're going to enjoy your training and do it. You're going to be earnest. You're going to be doing it so much more than if you didn't make your own, if you bought your own. And then when you're ready to buy some, you know how they're made. You know what to look for because you made your own. And when you get them, you'll know how to use them better than anybody else because you started with your own. So build your first pair. Sensei Emmett says 2 brush shafts by brush. We call it broom here. Cut the ends, make chucks. Yeah, perfect. And then, you use the rest of it to make your collie sticks. All right, Pratyush builds character, right? Does build character. You guys have been awesome. 360 kick, practice first doing a roundhouse kick. And there are many versions of 360 kick. 360 is just a full circle, right? If you turn your whole body, your head has to turn first. Turn your head first, and then practice bringing your knee up, and then throw your kick out. So we'll do that. We'll do some kick videos, or go look at. I've got a bunch of kicking videos from the school in Ohio, from me and from some of my younger students who do 540s and 720s. They do 360s, the easy one. The bigger ones are harder. So learn the 360, then go higher. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you.